Welcome to Our Voices on the Yard, where Black artistic excellence meets everyday life. I'm your host, Denise Woods. Join me as we explore and celebrate the achievements of the Black artists that attended conservatories and fine arts programs from around the world, starting with my alma mater, the Juilliard School. Hi, I'm Denise Woods, and welcome back to Our Voices on the Yard. Today is part 2 of the Kevin Thompson interview. Kevin is funny. The voice is, as I said last week, the voice of God. But he's just a wonderful human being with great stories, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy this week just as much as you enjoyed last week. So sit back, grab that cup of coffee or a bottle of water, and enjoy.
If you're looking at somebody's life of success, whether that's in politics, whether that's in anything, we don't see the day to day. We don't see the moment to moment. We only see the highs and the lows, and sometimes you don't even see the lows. You only see the highs, and for some people, you only see the lows. But, so you don't get to see the journey that it takes. And I mean, something my voice teacher at Juilliard said to me, he said, it doesn't make a difference if it takes you 3 minutes to learn this role, or if it takes you 3 months or 6 months to learn this role. As long as you know the role when you arrive, that's all that matters. You have to do what it takes for you to do what you need to do.
Yes.
To be at the place where you need to be.
That's right.
And that's the same thing for life and a career and any journey,
Yes.
Dear friend Audrey once told me this, and I, who went to Juilliard with me a year ahead of me, Audrey Dubois Harris. She said, if you were in a car and you were driving and you got lost, would you stop and turn the car off? Or would you turn around and try to figure out how to get back? You don't allow that to stop the journey. And that's so true. Because sometimes we allow ourselves to get stuck, and it's okay to ponder and to think, but the end is you got to get to where you got to go.
It's so interesting because just to piggyback on that analogy, even in the car analogy, even when we're lost, we pull over and we gather, our surroundings, and before GPS, we're talking clearly before GPS.
Yes.
We pull out the road map in the glove compartment, but we don't turn the car off.
Gasoline station. Right. Well, but you're talking before GPS and before cell phones, because I remember, my mother getting lost going somewhere, and we had to stop by the payphone at the gasoline station to figure out where we're going.
That's right. That's right. These are wonderful analogies because we're constantly trying to get to the destination.
Yes.
We're trying to get to the destination. Yes. We won't stop. What a great analogy.
Well, thank you.
Great analogy. Yes. Kevin, is there a role that you have been working on for 10 years that you've never gotten to play?
No. I wish there was. I mean, maybe mentally working on, but I will. You understand this to some degree. Yeah, there's things that you study in a different way, but I would say, there's always a hopes that because of course Boris Godunov is one of the leading bass roles, and so is the Mephistopheles and the Boito, because I've only done the Faust. That's one of those are two of the leading bass roles that you would love to do. So yes, I would say study it and looking at it and doing that, but I haven't worked on sections of it, but I haven't done all the way that way. I will definitely say this. I definitely feel inspired when I know that there's a contract on the line or that there is an offer, because this encourages me to go, okay, I got to step up my game. I gotta bring, because it does encourage you. You know what I mean? But yeah, there are things you're definitely working on. But no, nothing that I've looked at and I've got to know every moment of this. You know what I mean? Because the truth of the matter is, you may or may not get to do it. But I have to say this in the midst of that, and thank you for this reminder. And I want to encourage people that, if you keep your eye on the prize, you will get what it is that you want. So, it's about manifesting what it is that you want. So if there is a role or something that you want to do, you really should manifest on it, because you can make it a reality. And that's what I would definitely say. That's what Juilliard was for me. Juilliard was definitely that.
Absolutely.
I was like, I'm going to Juilliard. I'm going. That was it. There was no question in my mind. And it wasn't conceded.
So much so that you didn't even audition for another school.
It's crazy. I had planned to audition for Curtis, but I really did. I didn't make the application in time. It wasn't as you had to have these cassettes and all these things back then. It's not as easy as it is today, where you can pick up your phone and make the magic happen and send it to somebody and they can fix it in the studio. It's
right.
It wasn't as easy.
Yes, I didn't even think of that. I hadn't even thought of that. It was.
Think about it. I mean, if you need to make a video today, you just pick up your phone. You can do it.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, it's all the technology we have today is what got us through the pandemic.
Completely. That's why we're doing this right now, because we figured it out during the pandemic. We figured out how to do this very thing.
Yes. I didn't mean to cut you off. Sorry about that.
Tell me about the business aspect, because we, as artists, we come out. I know I came out of Juilliard, and I was not prepared for the business aspect of the industry. I was completely green. What have you learned over the years about agency, about being your own business manager, about what it is you are the product, about marketing yourself and putting yourself out there? What did you learn? That's the first question. And was the transition easy from being a student at Juilliard to now a professional opera singer?
Well, I think the business is, and for us, has changed a lot. You get to control more of your image than we ever could before. Like we didn't have social media and all these things. I will say, for me, the transition was hard, because I remember joining something simple, but this is when Facebook was the only social media. And I joined, and one of my classmates from school were like, "Are you ever going to put a picture up?" And I didn't put up a picture maybe for 2 years. It's like, because I just didn't want to let people into my personal life, because this is not how I grew up, that you advertise and say, this is what I'm doing. And it wasn't that, and now today we live in a day where, you're able to do that. But more than this, it's a free commercial is what I look at it as. It's like, it's your job to make sure you're getting your product out there. If you're not paying somebody else to do it, but why pay somebody else if you don't have the money to? You can do a lot of this stuff yourself. It's your image. It's your job to keep up on the website. So it definitely was a hard transition, I would say, for me, because just out of being shy, like, oh, well, what am I going to say? And do I post this? And I mean, I still have moments, I still have moments. I did a show in New York. I won't say what, and I won't go far into it, but I almost didn't post about it because I wasn't happy I didn't care for the show as much. But I realized the business side of that is you're working. People have to see you're working. So you have to post this. You have to let people know you're doing this, because this is your product. And work begets work. People say, oh, well, he's very versatile. He's doing, so this is important. You know what I mean? So I do think of it that way, and that helps. And it's interesting you say that, because I have a young countertenor, a male who's going off to Manhattan School of Music. And I have this conversation with him often. I'm like, you need to.
Can you hold for 1 second and explain to the audience what a countertenor is?
Yes, of course. A countertenor is actually a man who sings in his falsetto. And so he sounds like a woman, but it is a man singing. So he sings in the register of either a mezzo or soprano, and they sing in their falsetto. Wow. Yeah. So sometimes they have to use their real voice. They have to go in and out of it. And it's very interesting as a bass that I'm teaching a countertenor, because it's a complete opposite of.
Well, that was my next question. Well, wait, total. That was my next question because I'm thinking, wait a minute, that's apples and oranges.
It is. But when this will lead into this is that when I was at when I
Okay.
graduated from Juilliard, I went back to the performing arts high school that I taught at, that I went to, and I wound up teaching there for 4 years, private voice. So I wound up becoming like the teacher who taught me. I did that for 4 years, and I taught 18 students a week. And I
Wow.
had a countertenor who joined, who was a dancer, and he was so enthralled with hearing Jesse Norman and Kathleen Battle and Grace Bumbry on these videos that he somehow saw one day after school. And he was like intrigued. He's like, I want to do that. And so he came in and he wanted to be a countertenor. This is not the same guy. So I have had experience at teaching countertenor.
Okay.
And the truth is, your job as a teacher is to help show breath control, to help show technique, to help release tension, and to help breathing. So, and you're just expanding the voice through those things. So I feel like as long as you're listening to what a person brings to the table and how you can help them to move forward and not stay stuck in like, well, this is the only way you can do this, that you could teach anyone. You know what I mean? Because it's like, I know you think, well, how can you teach a male to do a great job and become rough? But it's acting, you have to get into it and you have to dive into it, so we have life experiences that help us to do that. So that's what's helped me to be able to do that. But I'm trying to think what I was saying about him that led into this. But, I just had to tell him, like, you have to continue
the previous gentleman at Manhattan School of Music.
Right, but I don't remember your question. There was something you
Gotcha.
led into that made me get there, but I can't remember that now. But the purpose is
it'll
like
come
to
back
believe in
because
what you have.
Yes.
Okay.
It'll come back. The specificity of what we were talking about will definitely come back because of what I'm getting ready to ask right now, which is arts education. I know that you are a huge proponent of arts education. What can you tell us a bit about what you've done, how you have existed in that space, and how important it is to take the arts from a place like Juilliard and bring it to the high schools, the type of high schools that we graduated from?
To high schools, to middle schools, I've done career days. I've actually even did one at Jesse Norman's at her school in Augusta, Georgia, when I was out there singing. So that was very nice when she was alive. I think it's so important because without the exposure of arts, because the arts is just not just for the arts. You know what I mean? What you learn in the arts is how to come out of yourself and be all of who you are and express that in the world. You know what I mean? Because like, I think about like when I worked at the hotel, I had just finished doing a career in Germany, a fest career, which is where you are on contract in 2010. And at the time, there was not enough work to come back to America. So I had to figure out, I need to have something to do because I'm getting bored. So I came back and I got a job at the West End out in Virginia. And I remember my boss would say to me all the time, I don't understand how you have so much energy, as it was just like being on stage. You walk on, it's my job to entertain who's coming to the front desk. Like, so I have to make them feel welcome. This is what we do on stage. You know what I mean? You have to make them feel welcome. You have to engage them and pull them in and make them have a great day. Because you don't know what somebody's come to when they've come to your show or see your movie. You have to be in it to win it. So that is important. And I say that because that's what I really try to teach when I'm teaching, especially privately, but is allow people just to come out of themselves and just to be who they are, because so many people have never been, I really do believe this, never taught to be all of who you are. You know what I mean? Because of parents or because of life situations no, you should feel comfortable in your own skin to just be who you are. And that will make other people feel comfortable to come in. And I'm sure that's exactly how we met. You know what I mean? Because of something like that.
That's exactly how we met. And you did not skip a beat. It was instant connection. We were
Yeah.
laughing from the moment we met. What are some of the things that you find enlightening in the darker moments? You know, as artists, we run the gamut, the emotional gamut, you know, from the highs, the lows. It's what makes us artists, because we wear our emotions on our sleeves, the good,
Yes.
the good and the bad. And so when we
Yes.
get to those dark moments, what keeps you hanging on?
Faith.
What is it?
It's
What
faith.
is it that's tangible?
It's faith. It's faith. It's believing. You know, one of the, you know, growing up in the church, I didn't mention this. My father was a minister. He wasn't the minister at the church, but he was a minister. And
Well,
so I used to hear my
that's
father, which,
huge. I'm so, well, wait a minute.
yeah.
Oh, by the way, my father is a minister. It's like, well,
I know.
thank you.
Interesting
Wait a
enough.
minute. Wait, let's back up. Let's back up. You're a PK. You're a PK.
Yes, I'm a preacher's kid. Yes, I am.
A preacher's kid.
That is very
Okay. Yes.
true. And interesting
Okay.
enough, just
Now it makes sense.
and to speak on that is, you know, it's weird how God reveals things in your life, or things are revealed in your life. But I call it God. People call it the universe. Whatever you need to call it, you call it, and you accept it, and you go with it. But because I remember him preaching to the homeless, like in front of 300 people, and I was on the, not, you know, he was at the platform, but I was on the platform up there in my mother's lap. And so that would be my first exposure to being in front of a crowd of people. That's just,
Wow.
it actually shocks me, because then it's like, well, of course I would be on stage. You understand, things happen in life so that they start to happen, you know what I mean? Like, they're revealing themselves to you. So it is faith that helps to get me through. It is motivational sermons or speeches or books, or I mean, I'll tell you, I have post-its of things to remind me of what it is that I need to say to myself to remember. You know, when I won AXO, I'll never forget, a motivational speaker came and talked to us, and he said, you need to write down what it is that you want to do in 6 months. You need to write down what it is that you want to accomplish in a year. You need to write down what it is you want to accomplish in 5 years. Write it down, make the vision clear, and you know, people know what that means, and post it on a mirror, so that when you go in the bathroom, that you see that every day, and it is a reminder of what it is that you are to do. Because it's easy to be reminded of all the things that are going wrong, or all the things that, but you know, we can change our thoughts. You know, we don't have to think, oh, well, this will never happen. Yeah, you're right. It will never happen, because just what you're thinking. You're not allowing,
Right.
how many times are you saying this will never happen? This will never. Never. Well, that's what you're hearing. You're not saying this will happen. This will become reality. I will do this. It doesn't mean that you have to see it now, but you have to manifest what it is that you want. You have to speak it into existence. You know?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so that's what keeps me going.
This is
That is definitely what keeps me going. What'd you say?
Do you have a tribe?
Yes, for sure.
Do you have a
Definitely
tribe?
friends. And you're one of those people in my tribe. You know that. You know that. And yes, I do
Thank
have a
you.
tribe of people. Absolutely. And that's important, because you couldn't do it without the tribe. You need to have people who you can trust. And look, that could be one or two people.
Absolutely.
It doesn't have to be a million. And you know, it could be one person
Well,
you trust with this,
I
another
have
person you
I
trust
have a
with that.
wonderful, yes, I have a wonderful saying. So this was years ago, when people were trying to amass followers on Instagram and Twitter, and someone came to me and said, I have no interest whatsoever in amassing followers on Instagram, on social media. Jesus only had 12.
Exactly. And he couldn't trust all of them, right?
I was like, okay, that makes sense. I get it.
It's true though.
It
You
is.
can't
It's
trust
true.
close
It's
enough.
it's
You don't
those
know.
those people closest to you, the people that see you. See, that's another thing. We see each other. You know, the reason why I'm doing this is because I want people to see what I see in the African American, the Black experience at Juilliard. The people that have not gone on to the fame of, say, a Viola Davis, who I absolutely adore. But there are just so many incredibly talented, noteworthy artists of color that came through the halls of Juilliard that I said, people have to see them. I want people to see them. I want to create a platform. And we're going to start at Juilliard, but we're going to take it to Cal Arts and UCLA and Yale School of Drama and Howard, the School of Fine Arts at Howard.
Exactly.
It's wonderful just to hear our journey. Did it ever cross your mind to go to an HBCU? Did you ever think about?
Well, it's interesting you say that. It's interesting. So Morgan definitely the choir came to our school, and this is when his name's going to escape me. It'll come to me in a minute. Dr. Carter, who was the choir director there, he was like, "You need to come to Morgan. We'll pull out the red carpet." And I would say the only reason why it didn't interest me is because I wanted to get out of DC. Nothing against Washington. I just wanted to, if Juilliard was the best, and I wanted to go to what was considered the best, I wanted to get the experience where I knew that I could see more. So actually, no, an HBCU did not interest me also because I knew this. I'm not great at math and a whole lot of other things. So I was like, let me just stick to what I know best. And that's music. So let me just be involved in that. I can succeed in that. You know what I mean? Know thyself is most important. So that's
okay.
Never
I have to say, I have to say that, and I've only mentioned this a couple of times, that I went after I graduated from Juilliard. I got my master's degree in education because I really felt undereducated after I graduated from Juilliard. And I say that because it was a conservatory and we were focusing, on myopically on our craft. And I got out in the world and realized that I had never taken a psychology course, that I had never, much to my chagrin, never taken a math class at the collegiate level. And I wanted that experience because I just felt kind of limited. And it's a personal thing. It really was a personal thing. I just felt the need because too, when I got to Juilliard, when I realized, oh wait, we don't have to take a math class. What?
Right.
No science.
Right. Exactly.
I was like, yes.
Yes.
But baby, by the time I got to my third year, it's like, can we have at least a math class? Then I can turn in a paper because they were kicking our butts, man.
Yes,
right?
Yes. No, that is the truth.
It's like, give me a math class, please.
I need an escape. Yes. No, I mean, too much of anything can be a good thing, right? It could be great food.
Oh
too
my
much
God.
Of it, it's too much. Yeah. No, it's true. It is true.
Baby, let me tell you, by the fourth year, I wanted to ask you, because I know this holds true for a lot of the actors. By the time we graduated, I did not walk into the halls of Juilliard until they asked me to come back and join the faculty. I did not step foot back into Juilliard. I graduated in 79 and did not come back until 92. I was like, get me up. Yes.
Wow.
It was overwhelming. It was overwhelming.
I can understand that.
And by all accounts, people say, but Denise, you succeeded. You did quite well at Juilliard. I was like, yeah, but that's why I think I had to go to grad school, because there was just there were so many other parts of my life that weren't explored and fully developed and fully learned. And so I really felt and thank God I was young enough to do that, because I graduated, I was what, 22,
Yeah,
you know,
21,
so I
22.
still
Yeah,
had time.
right.
Yeah. So what
That's
were those
interesting.
early years like for you when you graduated from Juilliard?
Well, so that's when I taught at the Performing Arts High School, and I reworked on some things
And
because
how long were you there?
only 4 years. 4 years. Yeah, four
Okay.
years. I did that, and then that's when I went off to the Ames Graz program in Austria. I really felt like
Wow.
I had to rebuild a few things
Which
because I had a. Hmm,
I was going to
go
say,
for it.
which is like grad school in and of itself.
Right,
That
right,
that was your grad school. Yeah.
right.
So I
Yeah,
just
yeah,
wanted to
yeah.
throw that in.
Yeah, for a summer, and so. And just to work on me a little bit, in a sense of, like you said, it is true. I did feel like I had to get out. I had to like breathe because it is. I mean, today there's so many ways. Sorry about this. Something keeps texting me, and I don't want to turn that off. But you can lose. There's a part of you at a school, any place. If you're only doing one thing, while you're gaining a lot of the one thing, you can also lose so much of the rest. What it is to have a regular social life, or and that's the one thing I would say I wish I had taken a little bit more time for myself, and I definitely try to do that, as you saw when I went to Dubai. After I do something really serious and really hard, I give myself a break, a vacation. That could be 2 days, that could be one day, but just go somewhere or do something that you really enjoy, because it's like giving yourself a gift, and you need that to have a break mentally. So after Juilliard, I did have to rebuild myself a little bit because my first voice teacher um, was a very good teacher, but there were some things they had slightly done to my voice at Juilliard that weren't quite right. So the other teacher was fixing some things. So
Got
there's
you.
confidence and things like that had to be rebuilt. But that's what I did during that time of teaching and working and coaching with the students at Suitland. It just really helped me to just rebuild myself. So when I went to the Graz program, I got a full scholarship, and I was ready to move forward into the next part of my career. And that's when they were like, you need to be in Europe, and you need to be here. And you know it's also interesting when you talk about Juilliard also, because we come from a time where there may have only been, you can only do it this way or this way. And as we all
That's
know, no
right.
two stories are alike. But
That's
you're put
right.
into this box of like, you have to do it this way or you won't get the result. And I think people realize now there's many different ways to do it. Yeah, you have to have some kind of strategy, but there are many
Right.
different ways of doing it. You know what I mean? Because like even
Yeah.
you mentioned Viola, think of, you knew Viola for years, but think, for a long time in
Mhm.
her mind, she wasn't as successful as she is now. You know what I mean? She wasn't the star that she is now, and people don't know all of that journey. So, I watched the master
Oh
class, I think it
my.
was with Oprah,
Indeed.
and it's just eye opening. You just realize the different journeys of a
Completely.
career,
Absolutely.
which is amazing.
Absolutely. Which brings me to something that I knew I wanted to ask you, and I wanted to save it for the latter part of the discussion. And that is your hobby, something that you do quite well, that you could actually make a career of if you chose not to sing, or to sing and do this as well.
You know this.
You
You know this
are,
already.
I do, I do, unequivocally. You are a world-class chef.
Well, thank you. I don't know about that,
Oh
but
no. Oh no. You can
I, I
compete.
can
Tell
I can
tell
cook
me
something in
tell
the
me
kitchen.
what tell me where the skill set came from you being in the kitchen, because I although I've never tasted a meal, I have seen pictures on Facebook that to die. And
Thank you.
everybody knows that I come from a cooking family. So I
Yeah, so
know good
you know
food when
good
I
food.
see it.
Exactly. Yes. So, my stepfather was a chef.
Oh.
Yeah. So growing up, I had a stepfather from the age of 5 on,
Mhm.
and but the thing is, that's interesting is that he never taught me how to cook. But what I always tell people is that he taught my taste buds. So I'm the type of person that I'll go to a restaurant and my mother knows this well, and I will want to come home and recreate it.
Based on what you
And so
tasted.
that, yes, exactly. Exactly.
Wow.
Based on what I tasted, because of what I was always say is that, we always had big family functions at our house growing up. I would say at least once or twice a month. We always had people over, and we're talking like, 20 to 30 people. Like, we had a lot of people over for dinners. And so it helped to teach my taste buds. And so, and I know I get this side from my father. My father is very explorative with eating. So I'm willing to try anything because I want to know what it tastes like.
Mm-hmm.
If it's on the menu and you're saying it's good, then let's have at it. Let's see what you can do. So I love to experiment. So that's where that came from. And I would say traveling. When I was in high school, we went on a trip to Austria. And now that kind of blows my mind. I mean, to kids today, that might be very easy to do, but it's you don't get international travel. My mother had never been out of the country, and neither has my father. And at the age of 16, I'm going to Austria. So it just opens you up to so much more.
Right.
And if you ever go out to dinner with me and I can't make a decision, it's not because I'm indecisive. It's just like there's too many things I want to try and I can't have them all. I'll just ask the waiter, what is the, I'll ask the waiter between 3 dishes, and they'll say, oh, why would, well, I don't know. I said, well, just surprise me. And they're like, really? I'm like,
Really?
Absolutely. Surprise me. Bring whatever it is that you think I should have. Bring it. And I've never been disappointed. That's actually the first time I had octopus was actually in Austria. And it was because of that. The guy just said, you have to have the octopus. And I was like, okay. Sure. Here we go. Here goes nothing. All faith, no fear.
And how was it? How was it?
Oh, I love octopus. I had it last night for dinner. I love octopus. Absolutely. I love octopus. Absolutely. One of my favorites. It was Greek. It was at a Greek restaurant, but I love octopus. Absolutely.
Oh my! Have you been to Greece? You have been to Greece.
I have. Yeah, I have been to Greece. You're right. I just had to think about that. That was after another trip. I was singing. Where was I singing? I was singing in Bulgaria last summer. And this is a really good story, really quick. So I knew I wanted to go somewhere after this trip. And I said, I have to go. I have to go somewhere. And I went on Google Flights and I found a flight for $155 to Greece round trip from Bucharest, Romania. I said, well, trip is made. I had to pay for luggage, so it wound up being $200. I'm like, this is a no-brainer. Where can you go to Mykonos for $200?
Right?
Flight, And then I found some hotel deals and made the magic happen. Definitely. I love any place with water. That is my happy place.
Yes.
I love water. It just makes me very happy. It calms me. I could go swimming for 2 hours and be completely happy.
Well, I have to tell you, to follow you on Facebook, your Facebook friends live vicariously through you, through the meals that you post and the places that you are visiting currently. And we just live vicariously through your life, which is beautiful. You've edged out a wonderful balance of a great career and a great life, because a lot of times it seems that people trade it off. They trade off a really great life for a great career because they're just working all the time that they can't enjoy the fruits of their labor. And it seems like you've figured out balance.
Balance is important. Yeah, because otherwise you get burnt out. It is very important. Life is meant to be enjoyed. It's not meant to just get through it. We should not live that way.
Just wake up and here we go again. Another day, another donut, No,
and
so
nothing risk, nothing risk, nothing gained. If you don't risk anything, well, what are you to gain?
Yes.
Is
there something that
you go ahead?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I need you to finish. No,
you're
there's
good.
a lapse. You're good. Well, it's probably going to tie into what you're going to say, because we are clearly on the same train of thought here. Is there something that you would tell your younger self, knowing what you know now? Is there something that you would say to young Kevin, that the Kevin that whose voice just turned to bass, your sophomore year in high school,
Right.
before the AXO
Trust the
award,
process.
before
Yeah, of course, of course. Trust yourself.
saying, yeah.
Trust yourself and to go and fight for your dreams. I really do believe that, because the dream was given to you. It's not given to another person. I mean, other people have their dreams, but your dreams were given to you, and they are given to you to manifest them and to give them birth. And it's your job. Nobody can birth it for you. You have to do it, and trust the process, That's really it.
Okay. What was Jessie Norman's song that she sang for Sidney Poitier at
Amazing
Kennedy
Grace.
Center?
Amazing Grace.
Can you take us out with a few bars?
I don't know what key I sing Amazing Grace in. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
Kevin.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
This has been so much fun. Thank you,
It
sweetheart.
has been.
I love you. Thank
I
you.
love
Thank you for
you too, and
joining
thank you
us.
for having me.
Thank you for joining us. Our voices, Kevin's voice on the yard. Our voices. Thank you, sweetheart.
Thank you.
God bless.
God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you for joining me. Thank you. I hope you've learned something. I hope you feel enlightened. I hope you feel lighter than you did before you entered. Subscribe and leave us a review. Tell us what you liked. Subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. Tell us who you'd want to see. This is Denise Wood saying, see you next time.